I'm hearing some people are having sex in the hospital. Like I'm literally.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, literally mind blowing.
Wow. I mean,
I just don't get it.
if
But
you're
I'm
both
just like,
there. Hello and welcome to the Tried It podcast, where we discuss all things from millennial struggles, relationships and love, and everything in between. I'm Maya.
I'm Jade. And today I'm joined by Kadisha.
Yeah, it's a first. It really, and I don't even think we were going to do that. We weren't going to allow that to happen in any capacity. But the topic that we're speaking about today is ironic because she's not here because of that. So we're going to get into it now, and we're joined with a lovely guest.
Yes, introduce yourself, please.
So I'm Talani, and I work alongside TSS.
And TSS is?
Yeah, what does that stand for?
TSS is the Sound of Sickle.
Okay.
And we are basically like a new, I'll call it organisation because we aren't a charity yet. Yeah, and I guess we started this year. We have been in the background since like last year, like, you know, trying to sort out our roles and coming up with ideas. So I've got a sore throat.
Oh, sorry. Everyone's getting sick, you know.
Trust
it's
me.
cold.
I've been dodging it for a minute, but it's come for me
That's
now.
like me, but my sister brought the flu to my house. And then
It's always one of them.
It's
like...
always someone who's close to you. Yeah, so now I'm like, I'm getting my flu jab this week.
Okay, so it's been going for a year. How come you guys decided to start this up? Like, who?
So I'll say it initially started with Chris. Do you know Chris?
Chris was supposed to be here, but unfortunately, is it due to sickle as well?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
okay.
I can't lie, the winter's hard on us.
See, this shows like how serious it is. I mean, there's literally, we were meant to have, like, obviously Khadija was meant to be here. She got sick, and then we were meant to have a guest, and like they got sick from sickle cell as well. So it is just like so common.
Is Chris having a crisis?
Yeah, in his knees. So like he can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you just define crisis?
Okay, so crisis is basically, it means, so usually our red blood cells are O shape, and then when we're having a crisis, it becomes a sickle shape, so more of a C. So it can't go through like blood vessels and stuff like that. So oxygen can't go to the body in the vital parts. Hence why it causes pain, because if there's lack of oxygen in certain places, it just causes excruciating pain. And it can be literally wherever the blood flows is wherever the pain can go. So it can be anywhere.
Yeah.
And then you can't determine how intense the pain's going to be. Like one day it could be moderate for you, and then the next it's like really intense and you have to go to hospital.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's in a short form. That's what a crisis is.
Yeah, we did, obviously, this is part 2 of our first episode that we spoke about sickle when we had Maria on. And we just wanted to go into a bit more detail because obviously we started them off and it was just like literally pouring out because we don't speak about it enough. We don't think it's much of a biggie. We operate with so many people that we know who have sickle, act like it's not a really big thing, and that's why
just
we're
become
just
so
like,
normalised in their life that they kind of just be like, oh, it's no big deal, like it's just happening again. This just becomes like normal for them.
And for us, even like with how close we work with Kadisha, and she's our good mate, we didn't even know it was that bad. And then obviously she had a massive crisis in October, and now we're like, okay. So when she messaged us yesterday, she was like, guys, I'm in pain. We were like, right, okay, don't worry, should we cancel the pod? Should we do this? Should we do that? Like we knew, and I think like everyone just needs to be like that. And I've googled last night how to help someone with sickle cell.
Me too.
And I knew she would as well,
before.
literally. And she was in the group chat, Jade was like, drink loads of water, but stay hydrated, not too warm though, because you're gonna go. And it's like, that's what we should all be doing, but I just want it to be more common knowledge because before this episode, I actually called a few charities because I wanted to present Kadisha with, well, we wanted to present
like
Kadisha.
a little sickle cell box of like a little care package.
I was literally gonna start making them.
Wicked.
That's a good idea.
So I said
was
to the
telling my
charity
sister as well.
I was like, do you do that? Like, can you give me a checklist?
No.
And she's like, no, you know,
They don't.
it's just, and then she called someone else and she was like, hang on a second. And like literally, and then she's like, it's not like when you're pregnant. Like when you're pregnant, you got to, you know.
Yeah.
But with this, it's so individual.
It's so different to everyone.
So
you
then
can't really say do this, and this.
I made a group chat with her cousins and I was like, what do you think? And they said it's like a few things like Smarties, and this is ruining the surprise, but you'll know now, Kadisha. But I want it to be that accessible.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I was even looking at merchandise to like make it fun. It's horrible. It's not nice stuff
it's
at
not
all.
that great, to be honest. Do you know what it is when it comes to sickle cell? Let me eat my soothers. Sorry about that.
Can I have one?
So the thing is, when it comes to sickle cell, it's such an independent, I wouldn't say independent disease, but because it's affecting us and we are so used to dealing with it by ourselves.
Individual.
Do you get what I mean? Yeah. So a lot of the time we don't feel like we have to explain like, oh, this is what's going on. This is how I get help. Because majority of the time, like, no one can really take the pain away.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? But little stuff like your friends telling you, oh, like drink water, have you done this and stuff like that, like checking in on you, have you used your medication? Like there's times I've had to call my sister and be like, can you please call the ward because they haven't bought my medication? And it's like really ticking me off because I keep telling them I'm in pain. And like little stuff like that, when they do that, it goes like you can't even imagine like how much it means. And I think the more people understand what sickle cell is or like how a crisis affects someone, the more they can help.
Totally.
Because people can't help if they don't know. Do you get what I mean?
I think I read something as well that apparently you could take medication every day that kind of can prevent it or like help kind of maybe lessen the effects if you get a crisis.
Yeah, there is a medication called hydroxyurea. So I was on that for a couple of years, and like for 3 years I didn't even have a crisis.
Oh wow.
Which was super amazing. I was living my best life. It was great, but then unfortunately because it's a chemo drug, it has intense effects on your body as well. So after a while I started to get side effects of the drug. So like I was getting really bad nosebleeds and stuff like that. To me, after a while, I didn't really mind the nosebleed, but there was one time I went clubbing.
Oh my
and I went
gosh.
to the yeah.
You're joking.
And I went to the
Don't
bathroom.
tell me you're wearing white.
Nothing.
Literally, but
I
you
went wearing
never
white,
know.
but the blood was just like everywhere.
Yeah.
And the next day, I was calling my doctor. I was like, no, I can't do this. Like, I can't be out and just like having nosebleeds out random.
Trust me.
It's alright
So,
if you're
like,
at home,
yeah.
you know, a little one when you're in bed or something. But
Exactly,
when you're out
you
and
can
about,
manage it, but when you're out and it's just like, nah, like, it's not cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people think more about the side effects than the pros, but they really are good pros when it comes to hydroxyurea. But it depends on everybody's individual beliefs because everyone's like, oh, chemo, I don't want to take it.
Sounds crazy because
But-
when I hear chemo, I just think like cancer. Like I just think something really serious.
Yeah.
Which sickle is.
Exactly. Sickle cell really is just as serious, but I think they've used it a lot for people who have blood cancer, so probably like leukemia. It's essentially supposed to change how your blood
Platelets.
cells form and platelets
Okay.
and stuff like that. So when your platelets go low, that's an indication of why you would get side effects and stuff like that. But
When your what gets low?
your platelets.
What's that?
So that's something they check in your blood cells. So you would have to
Okay,
have regular blood tests for them to
Okay.
check what your platelet levels are.
Okay, I'm with you.
So obviously Chris, is he the founder of TSS?
Yeah, pretty much. It's so crazy. Like, it's crazy because a couple of years ago I had no friends with sickle cell. Like, literally no friends. And then my sister, I always used to be like to her, oh, like, you know, you can't really help with everything because you don't fully get it. And she was like, okay, fine. Like, you should speak to Chris. And in my head, I'm thinking, I don't know who Chris is. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know him.
Chris.
Right? Like, hella random. You're just like, let me just speak to Chris. Like,
Chris, like everybody knows.
And like, when it comes to sickle cell, I'm so, I used to be shy about speaking about it and making friends with people who had sickle cell.
You don't all want to be bullied in the corner.
Right?
Here comes the sicklers.
And like, and sometimes you just assume that maybe they might not get it because some people have like different intensity levels to their
and
sickle
also,
cell.
if you don't even want to accept that you have this, to couple up with other people who have it, you're just like,
Exactly.
oh my God, I'm not part of this. Like,
I think I was at a stage where I wasn't fully accepting it. So it was just a bit hard to like make friends out of like my friendship circle or family. And then she was also like, yeah, speak to Alicia because there's some girl who has sickle cell as well who was part of TSS.
Okay.
And she went to her uni and I said the same thing. And then one day I happened to meet Chris at an event and she was like, see, this is the Chris I've been talking about.
Oh, this Chris.
How did she
Okay.
know Chris?
They went to the same uni.
Oh, wicked.
right.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
cool.
she actually like knew how he was and characters and stuff like that and how he is as a person.
Yeah.
And then I guess we started speaking and I was saying how I wanted to do more for people with like sickle cell and people our age and
Yeah.
maybe
Definitely.
kids. And he was like, no way, I was just thinking the same thing.
Amazing.
And he was like, oh, we
gosh.
should speak to, and Chris, he's just that type of guy who just knows.
Who would do it?
Yeah, and he just knows a lot of people. I don't even
Yeah.
know. He's just like, just a great person. So he knows a lot of people.
That's lovely.
And then, he just brought me, Alicia, Alvin, and Esther all together. And then, so he's basically the founder, but he brought us all together. So that's how we created TSS.
Okay, so the reason I asked is because obviously on the agenda today, because it was supposed to be him here, we wanted to touch a bit on his story.
I don't know if I can speak on his story.
Or just tell
I
us your
don't
story.
know.
I feel like
I
your
can
story will be good. Like, you know, I will. I
My
think everyone
story?
Has,
Yeah.
an individual story.
I mean,
Your story and then how it then like wanted you to push to do TSS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I have a brother who has sickle cell.
Right.
And then me and him are 10 years apart.
How many siblings do you have?
There's 4 of us all together.
Okay.
Okay, so 2 do, 2 don't.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool.
We're good graph when it comes down to it.
Because we know from the last episode that it's two parents that have the carrier gene, and then there's a potential of the kid getting it, but you never know, because Maria also has siblings and some of her siblings don't have it, and she does. So
So when I refer to my sister, she's the one who doesn't. She has trait.
Okay.
But because we're like 2 years apart, she basically gets it because we're together. Long story short, so my mum had my brother first, and then unfortunately he came out with sickle cell. Then she found out. I think she
was
found
she
out,
aware of the risk before she had kids?
So she didn't actually know. Well, it's weird because a couple of her sisters actually died from sickle cell.
Oh.
But because back then it wasn't really diagnosed well, they called it yellow fever. So she grew up thinking, oh, they just died of yellow fever.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Yeah.
No connection to me or blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then she met my brother's dad, and then he's basically like, he's got sickle cell, but he doesn't really get sick.
Okay.
So you can imagine my mum, who's never been sick and she has trait, they just assumed they were just like, fine. So when my brother came out, then she was now like, oh, she doesn't think she can have any more kids with sickle cell.
Okay.
And then long story short, she met my dad. My dad, she basically says he lied about his status, but I'm assuming maybe he did know his actual
probably
status.
didn't
He
know.
didn't
A
know
lot
he
of
had
people
trait.
don't know.
Exactly, because like
Yeah.
if you're never sick, can you imagine? You wouldn't know.
And did she ask?
She asked.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Then that's why she would think that he'd lied, because she blatantly said, "Do you?" and he said, "No."
Yeah, no. She was fully like, "No, are you sure you don't have sickle
Trust
cell?"
me, because I've been down this road.
Yeah, that's what she said. She was like, "I'm not trying to do it again. Like that's why I literally
Yeah.
left my other relationship."
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
because she was just like,
man.
"Yeah, I really loved him." And
So this is why it's important for people to like go and check. Like, do you know what I mean? Just because you don't feel like you might not have it,
That's the
you
thing.
still need to get checked, because it might just be like a dormant trait.
Yeah, because it's literally just your genes. I mean, like you wouldn't really think of it, you know. And then so he said he didn't have sickle cell. That all they have in like their family is asthma. No one's ever been sick in their family. And then I came out, and my mum, I'm pretty sure she was like distraught. Like,
Oh no!
I can't believe I have
Did they
another
say it
child.
straight away? They knew straight away
From birth? Yeah, they did the blood test, and then she was just like,
Oh,
gutted.
Oh gosh.
yeah.
Okay.
And then 2 years later, my sister was born. And then I think the times I found it tough was probably when we moved to like Essex, because me and my sisters were the only few black kids in school. So as not only did they not know what sickle cell is, like we were the only black kids in school as well. So it wasn't really easy trying to explain
Of course.
what sickle cell was.
Yeah.
And you're gonna miss school, and you're already black. like-
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? And then when it got to secondary school, I had teachers telling me, "Oh, you're not even trying."
Yeah, but they
you're
don't
just
even
missing
like
school."
understand. They just think you're just taking a long time off. For no
Exactly.
reason.
They're like, "Okay, so explain why you took time off then." And I'm saying I had a sickle cell crisis. They're like,
Does that mean you're on the street doing gang business?
"Are you sure you're not doing extracurricular activities, Talani?" And I'm like, "Well,
Oh
I've
my
just told you
God.
what it is, but because you don't know
Yeah.
it, you just let it,
Oh,
bypass you."
God.
And then went to uni, traveled quite a lot.
Wow. So despite your sickle cell, like you were still, this is what I think is very admirable. Like even Maria as well on our last, even
Yeah.
Kadisha, like, despite everything, you still do your efforts to lead a completely jam-packed life, if not more so, because you're like,
Yeah.
my time's not limited, but at any point I could be hit with a crisis and then I miss out.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're in a constant state of FOMO, which makes you like do loads of stuff.
Honestly, like when it came to like, you know how everyone, when you're 16, everyone gets their first job. I wasn't getting like that job. And then I used to go to my doctors crying like, "Oh my gosh, I can't get a retail job. All my friends are working, they're making money." And he's like, ""Talani, like consider your health. You don't need to be outside in the cold working like that." But I'm like, "No, my friends are making money.
Yeah,
I'm not making
I need
money."
that
Do you know what I'm saying?
£7.50 an hour. What is it?
Right?
Whatever it used to be.
So you're always like, I was just like, even if it's not like comparison, you're always just trying to like catch up, or like you're always trying to do the most when you
and
are
you just
well.
want to feel like you have the choice to be able to do whatever you want to do. It's
Exactly.
like you hate feeling like you can't do it because something's holding you back.
Exactly. And then my mum, she was pretty strict. You can imagine, she's an African parent. She used to make me go to school when I had a crisis.
Oh no.
She was tough.
Oh my God.
When I
She
was
thought,
growing
like,
up,
just kind of wear it out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
when I was growing up, I used to be like, "You're so mean, so mean." But she would literally be like, "Talani, I'm telling you, when you grow up, you're gonna have kids, you're gonna have a family, you're gonna need to learn how to do things during your
Despite this,
pain."
yeah.
She's like, "I get it, it hurts, but she's like, you know me. If it's really that bad, call me. I'll come pick you up." But she's like, "But you have to go to school." I mean, she's like, put on your thermal wears, you're going to school. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I used to be, oh God, I'd be in
looking
school rubbing my
back,
back.
When looking back, do you feel like that was good, or do you feel like it was too much?
Nah, now that I know like the person it shaped me to be, I'm like, nah, it was perfect.
100%.
Yeah.
Because
I feel as long as it's not exacerbating your symptoms.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if anything, it might even be helping because it gets your mind off it.
Yeah.
Like last time Kadisha was in hospital, she'd planned all of our episodes like into
That's
February.
insane.
You know what I mean? Like
It's
it's
true,
all done.
though,
And she
yeah.
said literally just had loads of time. And you
Yeah.
want to focus on other stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
But I just feel like now I'm older, like I used to do stuff like that all the time. Not that I have
Yeah.
sickle cell, but just like
Yeah.
when you're ill. But now I'm like, I know that if it's going to exhaust me, it's going to make it worse. So just
Yeah.
take a time off, relax, and do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I think maybe now that you're older, you have that inbuilt so you can tell the difference. But when you're young, maybe you can't.
yeah, because when I was younger, I'm telling you, if my toe hurt, I'd be like, oh, it's probably a crisis.
Okay.
Oh, my knee
Yeah,
hurts.
yeah, yeah.
If it hurts more than a couple of hours, I'd be like, it's probably a crisis because I don't know what it is really. I'm not a doctor. So my mum would be like, you're not missing school. So if it really hurts, you're going to call me to come pick you up from school. And then I guess early on, I was able to like understand, is it a crisis?
Yeah.
Am I just too stressed? Do you know what I mean? I was able to understand my body quicker.
Yeah.
So I think it worked out in the best. And then,
And I do feel like it's probably helped you get a better understanding of your body on like how it's feeling and like taking care of it and stuff. Because I feel like a lot of people can kind of mistreat their body or like push it so far to the edge when at least like this kind of keeps you in check and reminds you that like we aren't invincible and like we do have to kind of take care of ourselves.
Literally.
most definitely.
So obviously you spoke about your mum's situation in terms of having a partner and then having a second partner, both with trait, causing kids with sickle cell. Filling in my words there. Thank you. And I just wanted to ask you about partners and like how you feel about that and what happens.
I'm not for the dating people with sickle cell or trait.
Yeah.
Like some people are like, I don't mind dating people with sickle cell because they understand me better. I'm not here
I
for
do
it.
get that.
Okay.
But when your friends say that though, are they thinking about like the consequences of if they do have kids and how that's going to affect them?
I do know some people who have had kids like with sickle cell and like both parents had sickle cell.
Right.
Okay.
And their idea was that they can better manage their kids
because they
they've
understand.
been through it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Why choose to do that though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why
That's
would
tricky.
you knowingly bring your child into a life of pain because you fully get it? Like, you fully get like, it doesn't make
Literally.
sense. You fully get it. But, I mean, it comes to a stage where you're not going to be in the hospital or on the bed with them. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
There's going to come
just because
a
they might have
time-
had it at a certain level, their kid could have it much worse.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
So I'm one of them people, we have to get tested. Like, I will go to
Yeah.
the GP with you. To be honest, there's times when I'm like, oh, come see me. In
Don't
the hospital.
say
Yeah, I
that.
defo
Oh my
have told
gosh.
the nurse I want him to get tested.
Yeah, do you know what? That's
Most
a good
definitely.
idea. That's a good idea because then she can be like, "Oh, would you like a test?" And then you'll be
Thank
like, "Well, I'm
you.
here," and you'll be like, "Maybe you should." It wasn't my idea, but no,
You know what I'm
maybe
saying?
you should.
Okay.
And we've already
Looking
had
at you
this.
differently, Jade. But wow, all right.
I mean, it's a
We've
good idea.
We've already had the conversation. I mean, you're going to go to the GP and get tested either way.
No time
But
like the
now,
present.
right? And then you're here to see me. There's doctors here. There's nurses here. Do you get
And
what I
I
mean?
kind of feel like, I don't know why, but I have the feeling that like with guys, they don't like to admit that anything is like wrong with them. Like they would
100%.
never like to
Definitely.
do that. So if someone's like, you know, I think you should get checked for sickle cell, they'd be like, what? I don't have that. What's that? Like, I don't have that. What do you mean?
yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
But so sometimes I feel like just taking it an approach like that where it just feels like it's a random situation that he's fallen upon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That can maybe
Fair enough.
help him a little
Hopefully
bit.
they don't watch this and now see like,
Yeah,
oh,
sorry
so
about
that's what you're doing.
So do you have a partner at the moment?
Nah, at the moment I'm single.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And how old are you if you don't mind me asking?
27.
Okay, cool. So I assume as you
Yeah.
get older, that might be something like, has it always been at the forefront of your mind when you ask, like when you start dating someone when you're young? Obviously, I don't know, but you might be like, oh, I'm just here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I think I was about maybe 25 because I had that quarter life crisis. Like, oh my
Sure.
gosh,
What am I doing with my life when I'm having
Right?
kids? Blah, blah,
yeah.
blah. I'm saying it like I know.
I feel, yeah.
It's just so common. It's just like that's what you just think of. Like, oh my gosh. Anyway, yes, I guess when I hit maybe like 24, 25, that's when I was like, oh no, this is for the long run, any relationship moving forward. But before that, it's just like it is what it is. Like, I really don't care because we're not going to have kids. We're just having fun.
Yeah.
We're just chilling. Do you know what I mean?
But I guess now it's getting more serious.
Yeah.
Like now it's getting to that age where you kind of think about having relationships. You've got to think about it
Exactly.
more.
Because it's like, even when I'm thinking about relationship, I'm thinking about my future, like my kids,
Mm.
like my life. Like, I just don't want someone, not that they're not great people,
Of
but
course.
the type of person that I am, I would like a man to cater to me.
Mm.
I mean, it sounds selfish, but I kind of am selfish because I have a condition where I do need people. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you do need someone to be there for you and that you can rely
I need a support
on.
system. Yeah. So it's like,
how are you going to share that if you need me? And I hear that. I do hear that.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And I can't now say because you fine as hell, you rich as hell, that I'm just going to date someone with trait. Just no.
It's true. So like, what exactly does TSS do for people with sickle cell?
So in a nutshell, TSS, I would say we're basically the millennial version of a support group for people with sickle cell.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at the moment, we've done a KYT event, which is called Know Your Blood Type. Know your type.
Yeah.
So that's where you can get tested.
I like that.
Like, come along to my event.
Right?
Like, that's how the way.
You lot are all about
Listen,
the secret
Listen,
testing.
do you know what? Chris's always say prevention is better than cure.
It's true.
Exactly.
And listen,
It's
we
true.
have to be about it. So come get tested. Let's know your blood type. If you're good, you can donate some blood next week.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true.
And then while you're there, you can learn more about sickle cell.
Totally.
So
Just because you mentioned cure, are we any closer to getting a cure for sickle cell?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not out there actively Googling in terms of cures because what I've seen previously has not made me happy. I mean, we've got like bone marrow, which people have done successfully,
Okay.
but then a couple of people have also died.
Mm.
Then we've got stem cell, which is pretty new. But I mean, they've been doing it for years in America, but it's pretty new over here.
Right.
And then it comes to a situation where they're like, oh, is it better to just do it for kids?
Okay.
Because
Early on, and the the
Right.
cells can like grow as the kid grows
exactly,
and blah,
and
blah, blah.
adjust quicker rather
Yeah.
than someone who has had, because sickle cell does have its physical like effects on the body as well. So you can imagine someone who has had crisis, I don't know, 6 times a year over like 28 years. That's a lot of crisis. That's a lot of pain on the body. So yeah, so that's why they're trying to say maybe to do bone marrow and stem cell for younger kids. So actively, I haven't really heard much about cures, but I know that they are
Working
quote
towards
unquote
it.
cures.
Do you feel like there would be, this is a controversial question, and I don't know if any of us are really qualified to answer, but do you, you know where it's going, do you feel like the fact that sickle cell affects mainly ethnic minorities makes the work a little less like on it all the time?
Most definitely.
Okay, good.
Most definitely.
Glad we got that out of the way.
I mean, it's just very clear. I mean, even in the healthcare system, how we are treated now, it's just very obvious that it's not a priority and a cure isn't a priority. And I think a cure should be a priority because just maintaining someone on opioids when they're sick is not
it's not
the
a
best.
cure.
It's
not
not
a solution.
even in terms of treatment, it's not the best option. Do you get what I mean? But we have to do what we have to do for now. But we have to think of the actual future and how many people it's affecting. And they're starting to notice that maybe they're actually taking it in and realizing it is a blood disorder, meaning it's on genes. It's not just going to only affect Black people or people from the ethnic minorities. Because I think, didn't they say like 2027, the
Majority of
biggest
people are going to be
biracial,
mixed
race.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the biggest race. So you can imagine mixed race kids with sickle cell as well. I mean, it's going to happen. So we're going to have to start thinking of the future, not just right now.
It's true.
Yeah, I hear that. I feel like that really pinged in my head when we were talking about like feeling FOMO and stuff. And I feel like it's not a coincidence that it mainly affects people from minority ethnic who get on with it anyway, with everything that everyone faces. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, now that we've got another thing, you're not going to be like, oh, I've got this problem as well now. Here's something else for you to mark against me. I'm just going to hide it. Do you know what I mean?
True. I mean, especially when it comes to work, like let's not even just put in work. But I mean, the lack of support that's out there is actually just, it's disgraceful.
Oh no.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of companies wouldn't know, especially because if they're like white run, a lot of times they're not even going to have a clue.
Totally.
So they don't know, either they don't have any like things in place to like help people, support people that have sickle cell. And then it's like you need like, even sometimes I guess you could need like weeks or months off work. And I guess like companies just will have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, even just, not just time off of work or like being able to work from home, the cold as well, how it affects us. And everybody's body temperature is different, but I'm always cold. There's never going to be an instance where I'm like maybe if it's like a heat wave.
Yeah.
But
then
like,
do you get
I'm always
affected
cold.
by the change when it's hot? Because it's either extremes, isn't it?
Yeah, but luckily for me, I'm pretty good when it comes to being hot temperatures. That's where I thrive. Well, my health anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to winter, that's when it's like, no.
Yeah, I can imagine.
My triggers.
Because I feel like we were saying that we think that Khadijah's crisis, which has stopped her from being here today, is mainly due to the weather. That like in the past few days, it's just dropped.
It just was freezing.
And we did our event yesterday, and I think for a long time she was sitting and it just like gets to you. And
it's true, because then you've got to think about like my sister says, she's like, normal people when they go outside, their bodies adjust and they get like, it's cold, but your bodies adjust.
Totally.
Like us, no, like our cells are saying it's really, really cold. So imagine if we're just like this year. After a while, our cells are just like basically clogging up.
Yeah, because I guess the blood vessels constrict.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get like smaller. So I guess that changes the flow of blood as well.
Exactly. And then imagine that now that we're very, very cold, our bodies are now producing more sickled cells. That only leads to another crisis. Do you get what I mean? Like our bodies don't just adjust straight away. Oh, because it's hot, because it's cold. If it's extreme weathers, our body just doesn't really like it. It's like saying foreign language, basically.
Surely though, like when you are making societies like the TSS and stuff, that's going to lead to more people knowing each other. We've got more things in common. Yeah. We like you. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. And then more relationships are going to spur.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. Basically.
Okay, so then what happens?
So where people like will get to know each other in these organisations, that more people are gonna like each other. I don't know, like it's some matchmaking thing.
Literally,
there's gonna be more people.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna be like, you understand me,
and then they're gonna be like,
oh.
It's true.
And then what? Do you let love get into? You know what I mean? Love and health.
It's like forbidden love. We're gonna see more films about this. You know, like forbidden love.
That forbidden love is like the sweetest. You know, that's the worst part.
Okay.
But anyway, but we're not gonna go there. But do you know what's funny? We have a group chat. So that's another part of our like TSS community.
Can anyone join it?
If you have sickle cell.
Obviously. Not just for banter.
If you have sickle cell.
What, the gifts in that TSL? What's that group?
Right.
The memes.
Listen,
oh my God.
There should be a group
hilarious.
for like if your partner has sickle cell though. Because I can imagine being
like
a partner, like what do I do? Like,
we are
if you're friends, if you're this, like there should be so many support ones.
It's going to be our support group version. There are, that's in the works.
Okay.
But yeah, we have a community called TSS Community, and there's like 80 people at the moment.
Wow.
So the group chat is literally always popping.
Yeah.
And the things people talk about, like in terms of like relationships with other sicklers, I'm just like, I'm mind blown. Because I'm like, you guys are really actively just,
trying to make this happen.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Some of them, I'm hearing some people are having sex in the hospital. Like I'm literally.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh,
literally mind blown.
Wow. I mean,
I just don't get it.
if
But
you're
I'm
both
just like,
there.
I mean,
oh my God. But listen, I guess so, you know. But yeah. So I mean, I guess it's great to have a community like that, because like any like emotions you're going through.
you
whatever you're going through.
Exactly.
And we're all roughly around the same age, or like there's groups who are around your age as well. So it's perfect for that.
Have you had good times with people who, like partners who haven't had sickle, supporting you? Have they been able to? Do they understand? Is it easy to put across what you need?
Or did you like hide it?
Yeah, I was going to say I'm one of them people. Yeah. And I've got like commitment issues anyway. So I'm like one of them people like, I'd
for
rather...
you to even get that close to
you
me.
just be like, I can't come out. I'm busy. I can't come. Like,
like if I'm
fine.
missing something, you're not gonna know I'm in hospital. I'm just pretty much just.
Oh
Gonna
my
be like,
God!
No, I can't do something. Yeah,
and is that quite a common thing from people that you're speaking to, like that across the board? Mainly, a lot of female sicklers are.
Yeah, I feel like because they find it hard.
It's not a glamorous thing to shout about. Do you know what I mean?
It's not.
Everyone wants to boast on Instagram, like, oh, look at my man giving me this or giving me that, but like, oh, he's giving me a bath because I can't read right now. I can't reach my toes.
Oh my goodness! No, my sister would have to give me that bath. Not even my man. I cannot. I haven't reached that stage.
Because it's true. Like when Khadijah spoke about it, it reminded me a lot of my granddad, because he got quite ill, and he's a very proud Trinidadian man, and he was not having anyone like even know really.
Yeah.
And then when he finally admitted it was because he had to have a bag with like I think it's like a catheter bag or And I remember one day he came downstairs and he was like hi, like just kept it moving, and he's like excuse the bag, and then it was just, you could see his demise was about his sense of self went, because he's having to have all these people who doesn't know look at him, touch him, but it's horrible. And then to think when, like, obviously how we know Khadijah, she's a very proud girl as well. Like for her to feel in that vulnerable state as well made me think like this is actually something so serious. And that's why all of you would be like, I'm not going to say, I'm just going to not.
I think it's the vulnerability as well, because it's like, not only are you opening up about sickle cell, you have to be completely honest about the care that you need.
Mm.
And it's like sometimes it's easier to just be like, just be in the hospital and be like getting care from people who know you, who are used to it, and then in the hospital as well. But when it comes to someone who's new, you find it can be daunting, or I find it daunting having to explain that. So I haven't got to the stage where I'm like completely open, like just being like, yeah, this is what I need.
I guess sometimes you can wait until it gets to a certain like level of seriousness in the relationship to then be like, all right, it's been enough time now.
Exactly.
You need to know.
But then is that fair to the partner?
Oh yeah.
So you didn't think about them, did we?
No, I didn't actually.
That's actually true, because that's actually an argument I did have with someone I was dating before as well, because he was like, how I don't really like open up or like explain when I do need something. So how is he supposed to like support me with this and that? And I'm feeling like I'm trying my best to stay as much as I can without feeling like ashamed. Not ashamed, but like somewhat embarrassed. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, he's like, yeah, no, I want to come see you in the hospital. And I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, my wig is missing. My eyebrows ain't been
I don't want to have to worry about like all of that.
Do
Like,
you get
let
what
me
I mean?
Just
And
get better in my
yeah,
own.
and like, I'm a girl. I'm really not trying to be looking hella but I mean, I know I look bummy.
No, I get you.
I'm not
you
trying
when
to
you got
see you.
no makeup on, especially when it's early on in the relationship and it's like you haven't seen me looking, you know, no makeup, like greasy ass hair, like just let me be.
It's so funny. I was just in my book recently as well, The Unexpected Joy of Being Single. Everyone should read it. And it was saying like that loads of people do that like at the beginning, especially women, like makeup, this, that. And I'm so absolute, like, you have to work for me to look nice.
Really?
My boyfriend only seen me look nice. Like,
Really?
Later
Like,
on.
yeah, that's my
later
girl.
on.
That's a good idea, but
Because
you know,
upkeep. Like, how am I going into effort when I don't even know if you're going to be the one? Do you know what I mean?
It's true.
Everyone should start thinking like that, because you're not wasting money and
No,
time.
it's only if you catch me and you're like moving to me at Asda, then okay, cool. Because
Yeah.
then you
From
saw
here,
me looking.
it is what it is.
Or like
We
when I'm
move or
going
we
to
don't.
work. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But if it's like you actually caught me and I was like at an event or somewhere, then I have to be tip top me, basically.
Yeah.
You have to
put
be
your best
me.
foot forward, innit?
Yeah.
Maybe I should do that more. But yeah, okay, cool. I was gonna ask you, which you sort of already started on, like a bit of tea, like it's in situations you've had that maybe other sicklers who are listening, you can say that you may have done this differently, like with potential partners, because I think that's the one thing we didn't really cover the last episode. And obviously we have some female listeners, and I'm pretty sure you'd be interested, even lads, you'd be interested to know if you have.
Yeah, that's true.
And also I was thinking as we're talking, the ideal situation would be homosexual relationships if you both have sickle, because then you don't have kids.
So, yeah.
It's
Well,
not
but
kids
what if
to
they
worry
want-
about, and you can just understand each other because you can support each
That's
other.
true.
Like, imagine 2 women or 2 men, you both have
Yeah,
sickle, like
that's
you
true.
get it done.
But wait, if they want kids, their kids would be trait. Though,
Exactly.
innit?
No, they wouldn't even be trait. They could be
because then
adopted.
they can, adopt kids.
Oh
innit?
yeah, no, but because you know some people want their own kids.
Yeah, but then you could
yeah,
just make
yeah.
sure the person
Exactly,
that
the
you...
person that you get it done. Oh yeah.
See? Obviously, I don't know how that helps you.
Damn.
But
I'm thinking, well, you know.
I wonder if, because you know you can get like designer babies as such.
Oh,
And I know
God.
that
Oh,
can
God.
like span all types of different controversy. But do you think you could get something like sickle cell, like the sickle cell gene taken out or like removed?
That's
or
a smart
something?
question. You can actually.
You
Are
can.
you joking?
Yeah, I learned that at the KYT event. Guys, come to our next one.
It's
in 2020.
expensive though, isn't it?
Why doesn't everyone do that?
Apparently,
expensive.
no. Apparently, it's on the NHS now.
What?
This is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Right, you're getting it here.
Yeah.
Prime time news.
But listen, shout out to the doctor that came to our KYT event. Other than
Wow.
that, can you imagine? I learned that in 2019. I'm 27.
How long has
and
that
I had-
been? How long has that been a thing?
It
It can't have been that long.
hasn't actually been on
Yeah.
for that long. Apparently, Caucasian people have been using it for like, let's say they have the cancer gene in their family, so they've been using it to take it out of their unborn children. So yeah, it's basically like IVF, but you edit the genes.
Yeah.
So your child will not come out with sickle cell. It'll probably
Oh
come out
my
with
gosh!
AS.
And who knows
Yeah.
about that?
Well, maybe not a lot of people, because
Evidently.
a lot of people have been saying, no, I can't date people with sickle cell. Like I just said.
Yeah.
But no, I'm actually saying that because like I need care for me.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah.
Not just the kids.
not just
Yeah,
the kids.
yeah.
But yes, but yeah, you can essentially.
So
edit
do you
the
just
genes
apply
of your
for it,
child.
or
It's through the NHS. I think you have to speak to your doctor about it.
Okay.
I think someone said you would have to have been let's say you were actually actively trying for a kid, not just like, oh, I want a kid that don't have sickle cell.
Yeah. Sort me out.
Do you get what I mean? I want to design a baby.
Yeah.
But like, no, you would actually have to speak to your doctor about it.
Okay. Well, that's something we will definitely do a bit of research in and bring you some info on the Insta or something.
I think it's called PIYD or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow. Brilliant. Good question.
That was a good question. I was literally just thinking about it as well. But
and so do you have any, just because we've got to round up soon, any little like situations you've been in, or like the one you just told of guys you've been dating and you've either overshared and their reaction to it, things you do differently or anything like that?
Tough one, you know. I guess I'm one of them people. Well, I'm quite independent. So, like, if you show me a couple of signs that I don't like when I've opened up to you about me having sickle cell, even if other signs that you show me, red flags, I'm quick to leave.
Yeah. That's good, though.
That's the type of person I am. But then also that makes me so independent. It's like when someone does come in, am I actually compromising? Do you get what I mean? Like, I'm used to my own way. So, so in that instance, I can't really, like, shed light on that. But in terms of friendships, I know friendships, I've lost a couple friendships because of like me having sickle cell just
cancelling and plans and stuff.
And then at that time I didn't realise, like, you know, you have friends for different instances, like you've got your clubbing friends, you've got your actual friends, you've got your family. I didn't realise exactly work friends. I was just assuming like, no, if we're friends, like I could just be open with you guys. And then when they just start to distance themselves from you, or they're like, oh, you don't come holler at me, Tolani, this and that, and you're like, I've been in hospital, you genuinely didn't check on me. And people love to say to me, oh, but you didn't tell me. And then when I now tell you and you don't even wish me get well soon, am I the bad friend? Do you get what I mean?
Because the thing is, I feel like people think that because I can't physically do anything for you, me being like, oh, I'm so sorry you're in pain, it's just going to piss you off. Do you know what I mean? So that would be, but obviously when you have friendships and you do, then you get it. But
that's
the average person probably is just like, oh, what can I really do? How is my text really going to mean that much? But you're saying it does. So everyone knows it does.
Yeah, that's another thing I want to say. You'll be surprised, like if you're someone's support system or friend, and you know someone with sickle cell, literally texting them, just saying get well soon, has the pain started to go down, where is the pain, like questions that show that you actually know what sickle cell is very helpful. Even like my sister, she's always sending me stuff that she'll see on Twitter, like memes, or she'll send me links to like Love and Hip Hop, stuff like that. Like she knows she can't physically take the pain away. Do you get what I mean?
And that's you want to feel acknowledged and noticed.
So that's basically what I need, because I know you can't do, you know, like take my pain away, but those little stuff of you sending me memes and me watching Love and Hip Hop from a link that you send, that goes a long way when I'm in the hospital, because it's like we don't really get to sleep that much, and sometimes you're on so much pain relief as well. It's like either you're really anxious because of all the pain meds that you're on, or you're in a hospital when you've got some dementia patient next to you, and it's like
it's just not a nice atmosphere.
It's not a nice atmosphere. It's a lot.
And are you going to make the bags an actual thing?
Yeah, no, I actually decided that I'm going to do like a care package for people with sickle cell, so people can buy it. Because when I was telling my sister, she was like, no, you have to do that.
Totally.
And I was Googling it, and like there's literally not, I didn't know that.
Trust me.
And I was like, no, like all this stuff, you'll be surprised how much stuff like I'm buying heat packs, I'm buying deep heat rubs, all of that stuff. It's expensive. If you could just send that to someone, like that would just show, and a nice card. That would just be like, I'm thinking of you. That would be amazing.
Exactly. And then even like they would think like, okay, cool, that's run out now, I need to top that up again.
Exactly.
It takes something off the list.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what I was saying, like literally whatever I use, I know that I can just put in that care package and just like sell. I didn't really think it was a good idea. It just came to my head.
Well, when you do, give us a shout, and obviously you got it here first. We're going to do some shout outs. So anything that you've eaten, had, read, been part of, anything you want to shout out, you can shout out now. And I'll go first.
Can I go first?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Okay, so this episode, I just wanted to shout out ourselves, like Try It Podcast, because we had our event, as you all know.
I know. Anyway, all right. Okay, I've got one.
On to different ones every time, sort of thing, and just seeing how, because obviously like there's different things from different hotels, so the menu might be different.
We had it on Sunday the 8th, and it just went really, really well. Like I was just so pleased with how it turned out. The turnout was like the perfect number to have a good discussion. Everyone was so engaged. Like people loved the was goodie bags that we gave them. People won prizes. It was just like perfect for me. I think like I don't think it could have gone any better. So I'm just so grateful for everybody that came, and like I got so many nice messages afterwards of people saying how they enjoyed it. So I'm just so glad, and thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting. It always means so much. And if you didn't come to the next one. I don't know when it will be, but yeah, next time we have one, make sure you come along and support.
Yeah, that was nice. I was going to do the same. So
that's why I want to go first.
You go next.
Okay. Shout out TSS. So you guys should follow TSS UK on Instagram, Twitter.
We'll put the link in our stuff as well.
You know, link in the like bio and all that. Oh gosh, I feel like a YouTuber.
Yeah, like, subscribe.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Oh
Let's go.
Yeah, so follow TSS UK. And this December we have a campaign called Faces of Sickle. So we have a new a model that has sickle cell. Each week we upload a picture and a video basically sharing their story on sickle cell.
I've seen one of them. I sent a sticker. Yeah.
So it's basically just to show that sickle cell doesn't have one look and we don't have one story.
Love it.
Even though we all have the same condition, we're not all the same.
Amazing.
So every week this December we're gonna have 2 models every week showing sickle cell and an insight into it really.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then,
Kadisha, make Kadisha be one as well.
She'll probably be in the 2021. We've got it all
Wicked.
done now. But
Okay,
2020 we're gonna be doing it every
Sure.
year.
All right, we'll tell her as well.
Faces of Sickle Cell.
Okay, I would like to shout out a new series I'm watching, Marriage Boot Camp, reality TV stars. I love it. It's really good, like trash TV, but also it makes me think, and I tried watching it for my boyfriend as well to make him think too.
Yeah.
He didn't like it as much as me, but I'm still watching it. I would also like to shout out Cheeky Zebra, which is the lovely cards that we put in our goodie bags. They're beautiful, really funny Christmas cards. Really funny. So the founder, Sasha, was really, really kind and she sent us some as well. So Cheeky Zebra greeting cards, check them out on Instagram. We'll put the thing in there.
Yeah, if you just get anyone a Christmas card, get one from her because they're
proper funny ones, yeah. And then Hatch Print was so helpful. On the day before the event, I was like, where are the stickers? I couldn't find them. I had a whole breakdown and they really, really sorted us out with some new ones and they were just lovely. If you saw them on the thing, they were just amazing. And Katie in particular really, really helped out. So thank you to them too.
Yes,
thank you, like she said, for coming to our event. We loved it. We loved everyone coming. It was so special. So look out for the next one. Keep subscribing, keep liking, keep sharing, and see you next week.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Bye.
Oh, wait, I didn't even say thank you to you guys. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Thank you for
Thanks for
coming
having
on.
me and the work that you guys are doing.
Thank you.
We actually appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah, no worries.
Sending the word out.
Yeah,
We
100%.
appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
No worries.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.